Oh, hey, fellow artists, it is Ros here, and today we've got a special guest with us, the Australian Fair Director from the affordable art fair, Georgia Huestis. We'll be taking you behind the scenes of one of Sydney's biggest art events, talking about the current art buying landscape, and also touching on some industry predictions too. This is episode 103 of the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast, which means you can find all the relevant links and the show notes over at permissiontopaint.co/podcast 103. Welcome to Paint, Rest, Repeat, the podcast for artists who are ready to ditch the overwhelm, follow their passion, and build a thriving art life on their own terms. I'm Ros, an Aussie artist, mum of two, and creative business coach who knows exactly how wild, wonderful, and wobbly the artist journey can be, because I've lived it. I left behind a safe teaching career to follow my heart into art, and now my work hangs in galleries and major art fairs across Australia. After years of coaching, I'm passionate about helping you ditch the starving artist myth, stick it to the naysayers, and design a creative life that truly lights you up. So if you're ready for real talk, practical tips, and heartfelt encouragement, you found your podcast. Hit follow and let's dive in. I was wondering if you could open up the podcast episode today by letting people know a little bit about you and your relationship to the Australian Art Fair, just in case people have not come across you before.
Yeah, sure. So the fair director across the three fairs. So for Affordable Art Fair, we have fairs in Melbourne, Sydney, and now Brisbane. I started helping to launch the Melbourne Fair in 2019, and then we grew to Sydney. Now we're in Brisbane. And we have a lovely team across the three cities. And my job is working to make sure the team are happy and connecting with artists and really growing the business in Australia and helping to keep it run smoothly and make sure people come through the doors.
Amazing. Your fair experiences are just so positive and just so fun. I just love to attend. Sometimes I participate, but I love to just attend and have a look at what's going on, and you have live things going on too.
Yeah, it's a bit of a highlight for me to make the fair more interactive and real. And I think people come when they want to engage with art. They want to meet an artist. They want to see the magic happens. I think often those of us who have friends that are artists or paint, they know what an artist studio feels like, and it can be a bit of a sacred space. And it's just a little preview. So we will work with artists to have a little space where they might bring in a tiny sample of what they're doing from the studio, and then people will walk around the fair and suddenly they slow down when they see art being made.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's something to do with the mindfulness of it. You know, watching someone paint. I mean, painting yourself is the same sort of thing, but watching someone paint is just really mesmerizing and really, I don't know, just sort of takes you, transports you to another one.
Yeah, I think it's that cathartic sort of, wow, what's happening? And then it really dispels that I could do it myself kind of feeling. Like you might watch an artist who works really in a rapid way and it's gestural and you think, wow, this happens before my eyes, or it's really minute. We also have one artist, Jackie Case, who likes to create little pencil drawings within an ATM, you know, this sort of safety of creating without a huge audience. But Jackie came up with that idea years ago and we ran with it, and it's one of the most popular things that is at the fair that people return to see. You purchase a little credit card and you put it in the machine and you have a request of a drawing, and then Jackie's sitting in there drawing little pencil drawings in response to these prompts, like a sloth in a frying pan. But it is that interactive feeling, even if you can't see what Jackie's doing inside.
Yeah, she's a legend. My girls both have one of her artworks. They're just amazing and so creative. And I get exactly what you're saying, that privacy not being watched. That's a whole other thing for an artist.
I think so. And I think it's finessing it each year. I think the first time we were like, hang on, we need a lamp in here and a chair. And now we've got an ergonomic desk in there.
And air conditioning, I was thinking, does it get hot? Do you know?
Well, I think less so in Melbourne. But that's a good point with Sydney coming up, because I think it will be warmer this Sydney.
Sydney's been very strange this week, on this particular week of recording. It's been very hot.
Yeah, well, I'm in Melbourne. I'm here in my knit, but I'm looking forward to getting to Sydney, that's for sure.
Yay. All right. So the Affordable Art Fair, it's international, right? So you're in charge of the Australian fairs, but you used it just in Melbourne. Now you're Australia-wide fair director?
Yeah. So Stephanie Kelly, who was the fair director originally, she looks after Asia Pacific now and is Sydney based. So we've got a lovely Sydney team, but Steph also looks after our Singapore and Hong Kong fairs. Before she launched the fairs in Australia, was the director of our Hong Kong fair, which is one of our biggest fairs globally. So
amazing. And one of your favourites, rumour has it.
I do love the Hong Kong fair.
I might have listened to some of your other podcast episodes, and I wasn't sure, is this being a good podcast host doing the research, or is this being a stalker?
Just being human. I like a good research too. But yeah, the Hong Kong fair I have exhibited at as a gallery for many years, and I used to just love going to Hong Kong. And I think we work quite closely with our team members across the world, and particularly in Hong Kong and Singapore. So like this fair, our marketing manager from Hong Kong, she will come to Sydney, and we all get to learn from each other. So it's good.
Fabulous. I lived in Hong Kong a long while back. Yeah, not for very long, just for half a year, but it's a great culture over there. The expat cultures, I found it lots of fun. I was a lot younger too.
Yeah, no, I think, well, any adventure is rewarding. So Hong Kong's a good one.
All right, fantastic. So we've got the Sydney Fair coming up on the 6th till the 9th of November, 2025. What do we have going on at this particular fair? Is anything different this particular one? I know one thing that's different, but I'll let everyone.
Yeah, we have a new home. So we have moved from Randwick and we are moving to Carriage Works, which feels like we're growing up. We'll be a much bigger fair. So the fair is now the same size as our Melbourne fair, which is very exciting. And I think, the Carriage Works piece has been a big shift for us. And I think will really elevate the fair. And we're already seeing big ticket redemptions, lots of people coming already, and we have moved to November. So previously the fair was in the middle of the year and we were contending with wild rain and wind, and I think that sort of November, pre-Christmas, people thinking about gifting and the end of the year. So we're really looking forward to our fair being in November this year.
The space, that's amazing. Yeah. It's a beautiful space. I'm sure you've seen it, obviously, in person. You would have done a few trips or been there previously.
Yeah, and I think it lends itself to events like lots of markets there already and art fairs, and there was a Sydney ceramics market on the weekend, and I think people feel fondly about Carriage Works. So I think whenever we've said, we're moving to Carriage Works, everyone goes, oh, great. So yeah, we're happy to move.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great space. You mentioned before the timing, so the November timing for this particular fair, and that being a bit of a shift, and the Christmas sort of a focus. I'm just curious, because I like to ask all the questions. I'm wondering, do you think that means that artists attending any sort of a fair at a time like that as an exhibitor should be thinking about that and creating a little section of smaller gifts or artworks?
I have thought about this. I think our gallerists and exhibitors are really good, particularly in Australia, at really reaching that affordable price point. We've always had walls of artwork under 500, or the emphasis on something for everybody. So I think some of our galleries, like Aspire Gallery or Stephen Street, both galleries in Queensland, often really focus on a certain price bracket. And I felt like, oh gosh, that will work well in that sort of lead up. But I'd say most of our galleries have a really good cross-section of works and have something for every member of the family. Someone who's buying their first work, or someone who can't fit another work in but really wants to support that artist, or that really big hero piece that people are coming in particularly looking for. So I think stands that have that real balance, and they bring you in with a small work or a big work, and then your eyes dart around. So I think our galleries usually are pretty good at having a mix. And perhaps small works will kind of go, but we hope big works will too.
Yeah, I love it. As you were talking, actually, I was thinking I'm definitely that collector that's running out of the wall space that wants to buy the art. And so I'm at that tricky point of starting to learn how to rotate my artworks. Do you buy a lot of art yourself? And is that something you've had to master, the rotation?
I think it is like not being afraid to just get the hammer out or the drill out. And I love it. Imagine if you're a painting stuck in one spot for your whole life, how much dust you must be collecting. I feel like they're almost like paintings like people in my house. I move them around and the kids will come home and be like, oh, what have you done to my room? And it all just starts with shifting one piece, really, doesn't it? I like the idea of it moving around and the interactions paintings have with each other, or sculpture, like the colours and grouping works together. And I think that is the magic of the art fair, when exhibitors know how to do that really well, and then visitors can come in and say, wow, I love the way that wall works. I don't particularly know why it works, but can you talk me through that? Or could you help me create a wall like that? So our fair, we do focus on sort of group shows and artists working together, or galleries for curating a bit of a treasure chest in a way. And that's that idea that visitors can come in and see how works sit with each other, and they might say, I love everything on that booth, and it's the eye of that gallerist or collective vision, and then they'll feel confident about making a choice because someone else has put those works together, and then they can add to it each time. But I think our job at the Affordable Art Fair is helping people fall in love with art and then feeling confident about the choices that they're making, because we've got lots of experts in the room.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry, I've got ADHD, by the way, so I have all these thoughts and then they just disappear. So if you see me write,
I'm an avid note writer. I get it.
So I love what you were saying, and it really triggered for me another question around, do you find that you have mainly at the fair first-time art buyers, or do you find you have more collectors coming, or a mix? What's your thoughts?
It's such a mix. Our audience is predominantly a little bit older, a bit more mature, typically over 35, and I'm seeing a real shift in that. I'm feeling like there's a younger audience coming in, which is really exciting opportunity as some of our exhibitors are coming in for the first time and bringing a different type of artwork. But it's a real mix, I would say. Bring me back to that question again.
It's all right. I've noted it down. I'll just refer to my notes. It was just whether you feel like you have more of a lean towards first-time buyers or collectors.
I'd say like our job at each fair is to grow that average price point, and you sort of see it tick away each fair. So Melbourne, people are a little bit more experienced now, and you're seeing people come in and perhaps commission a piece or come in really confident to buy. And then say in Brisbane, people might have come in and said, oh, I just want to see what this is all about. And now they are ready to buy. And it is that mentality of the different cities. I think Sydney art buyers are confident. They come in, they know what they like. But yeah, we do get a real mix, but we do get a lot of experienced buyers that come in and they might just see something and think that's the perfect gap or what I'm looking for. But we are trying to attract typical art collectors, but also people that have the means to collect but might not know how. And once you've bought your first work, you feel pretty able to buy the next one, and then it kind of just tumbles on. And then a lot of people will have homes that have just been collected by each fair. They'll come and buy something, or they'll connect with their gallery and then buy from them throughout the year. So I think it's not just that on-site sales experience for those that are exhibiting with us. It's the flow-on effect and the after sales where you've picked up a postcard, you've put it on the fridge, and when you're ready, you know who that tastemaker that you're loving is, and you'll see what's on their website or go to their exhibition openings during the year, that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I saw that actually recently because 380 which is the collective that I'm exhibiting with at the fair, they recently did the Melbourne Art Fair, and their post-event sales that were coming through were quite considerable. So that's really exciting for people who are wanting to participate in the fair.
I think it's like getting out of the studio, getting out of the gallery. We have a lot of regional exhibitors as well. If you think about sitting in the gallery, and we've all done it, where you're sitting there and you're keeping the door open just so people might come in, you're trying to be as welcoming as possible with your posture, and you're smiling and you're saying, come in. But then you get to an art fair and everyone's there already, and it's your job to catch them and be really welcoming. And that's the thing. I think we really want people to feel like they're welcoming your space and that you've been really as open as possible.
Definitely. That's quite hard for a lot of artists, because a lot of artists lean towards that introverted sort of side. So that idea of putting in that social energy for 4 days straight is a really big thing for a lot of artists. They can do it, but then just being really exhausted afterwards. First-hand experience last time, I was fried. Let me tell you, after the fair, I was just so tired, just from the peopling, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you're on the whole time. And then at the end, you're like, oh, well, it is my happy place. I'm in absolute heaven when I'm at the fair. People are like, you must be exhausted. I'm like, I am running on a real high here. So I love it. It's like all of your hard work, all of your artist friends, all of your galleries, everyone's there under one roof. People are coming in, they're buying work, the bubble wrap's going, and I love it. It's like my Christmas in a way, but that's not to say after I'm like, oh, you don't leave anything in the tank.
It is exciting though. It's nice to run an event and have that build up, and that it gets stressed, but I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way.
I've run galleries and then had artists that I've worked with who've come and helped me on the stand and then after said, do you know what? Don't need to do this again. And that's why we predominantly work with galleries. That's their superpower and that's their skill. They're really good at selling work, connecting with artists so artists can spend their time in the studio. But then we'll also have these beautiful artist collectives where you've got someone running it who is inherently amazing at selling and the bringing of it all together. And you think, wow, you're growing a gallery and you found that this is actually a different part of your art skill set that you didn't know you had. And they might bring an artist that's just not doing it for them, but the artwork's racing off the walls. And then it's that practice selling another artist's work as well. So I think it's that full experience where you get to know where your skills are and what's your energy too.
Yeah, and you've got to give it something a go, right? Because you never know, you might have that hidden skill somewhere in your system. Focusing on this fair landscape, because there are a few other fairs around, right? So we've got the Affordable Art Fair, the Sydney Contemporary, there's the Melbourne Art Fair, I don't know what that's like. Then I also heard of the Inner West Art Fair, which is in Melbourne. Fun fact, I applied and I think I got through. And just before I paid, I realised, it wasn't Sydney Inner West because we have an Inner West here.
Yeah, the Inner West Art Fair is in Williamstown.
I was thinking, I've never heard of that suburb in Sydney. Maybe it's, I don't know.
Yeah, look, that adds to the logistics for you, doesn't it?
It does. From afar, it looks like a great fair. And then, of course, there's the other art fair, which has made this big announcement recently about closing the Australian sort of side of their operations. I did want to ask you a question, if that's okay, just related to that. I know you don't work for them and all
No,
that.
no, that's okay. I said we're all friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're disappointed to see that the fairs aren't continuing next year in Australia. I think it's not a reflection of the overall Australian market. I'd say it's pretty buoyant from where we're looking at, and we love growing art markets. So, yeah, it is a shame because it would provide a really good platform for artists to particularly dip their toes into showing their works in front of a lot of people and the professional development as an artist. So, yeah, disappointing that the other art fair is not going to be in Australia.
Yeah, pretty big news. But you don't think it indicates then anything in terms of the art buying landscape in Australia in particular?
Not for us. We're seeing growth. We're seeing lots of interest from artists, but we're also seeing a lot of interest from art buyers. And I feel like a particular confidence in buying and an excitement around coming to these in-person events. We obviously had COVID and was like, oh gosh, where's it going to go? And then we're really happy with growth of the fairs here and the lovely connections that we're making.
It just also points to me how amazingly you guys are doing, because I was thinking about that when I did my little stalker research before you joined the Affordable Art Fair in, what did you say, 2019?
Yeah.
So you've been there and the fair's been going through the whole COVID palaver.
Yeah. That was a lot of phone calls during that time.
Oh my goodness. And you're still going really strong. And I feel like with this, the other art fair, with their news, your fair is going to have even more traffic and it's going to have a bigger slice of the market. So I'm excited for you.
I think it's exciting. I feel like people will buy anyway. We will just continue our focus, which was artists working on booths together. We have like a young talent, like an emerging artist section where we will bring in some artists. But a lot of our artists and collectives have done the other art fair before. So it's been a really lovely like launch pad for them as well. Yeah, we'll see. I think the Affordable Art Fair very much runs on the same formula it does in all of our other fairs around the city. So the fairs are 30 years old. Will Ramsey started the fairs in England, in London, and he went to buy art and it was a really stuffy experience. No one spoke to him and he thought, why is no one speaking to me? I could buy. But he ended up doing an arts event in Battersea Park where dogs were welcome and it was in a marquee, and each year it just grew and grew and grew. And we still have our fair, which was on the weekend in Battersea Park. And the whole ethos is just you label your artwork so people know what they're buying, you make it fun, and it's a human in-person event. So that's what works for us. And I think we've very much rolled it out in that way. And I exhibited at those fairs as a gallery for so many years. I felt like I sat on the other side of the fence and what I wanted as an exhibitor, and that is you want people to come to the fair and you want them to buy art. And we are unashamedly commercial. We are the Affordable Art Fair. We want people to come in and buy art and support artists who are living artists. I did my bit of research on you and it was like, yeah, no starving artists. We are all about trying to set artists up for success and set galleries up to help support their artists. And then we do, marketing's a big one for us. So trying to kind of shout from the rooftops about what we're doing and what these amazing, talented artists are doing as well.
Legend, Georgia. I've got one last question for you. Oh, actually two. I've got two questions for you.
It's okay. That's okay. We're having fun.
It's really great. So my next question was, do you see any sort of trends sort of appearing, any sort of predictions for the next 5 years in art and art buying? Maybe both of those?
Yeah, I guess each fair, all of our galleries apply and then we get a big, beautiful folder of images. And my favorite thing is like rolling through them. It's like the best shopping list ever. And like looking through Sydney this year, I was like, wow, there's lots of people painting baths. That's like so obscure, but I was like, maybe it's that desire to relax and feel calm. So there are a lot of paintings, particularly for Sydney, that were water-based, but also there was this sort of overwhelming paintings of baths, which I thought was very interesting. But
I was not expecting you to say that.
So that was, I mean, we really we are inspired by the art. Like all of our team are obsessed with finding our favorites and really having those connections. And then another big trend I'm seeing is ceramics, perhaps like ceramic wall pieces or just the textural elements. So somewhere like Good Work Gallery, all of their artists at this fair are all like really pushing the boundaries with texture and pigments or paper pulp or ceramics with glass. And in Melbourne, I had someone come up and say like, oh, I seem to always collect sculpture when I'm at your fairs or ceramic. And then we had beautiful artists doing like digital molds of broccoli with feet. And I just think artists that are doing something a bit different, and we're all very comfortable with painting and painting is here to stay. Everyone loves to come in and buy that. And that perhaps is that kind of comfort buying at the start and then people kind of diversify a bit. But then, nothing ever beat a good painting either. But we are seeing a lot of ceramics where we perhaps didn't in the first few years of the fair. So that's what I'm looking out for and that feels exciting.
I've got a name for our episode today for the interview. I was thinking broccoli and baths with Georgia Huestis. What do you think?
No, that's fine. I'll roll with anything. But I think that's the exciting thing. You kind of don't know until you get on site and you're like, what is everyone doing this year? And I think, Sydney is feeling that need to just relax and feel calm.
Yeah, definitely. Sydney's a whole thing in itself. It's very busy sort of a place. So my final question then is a closing question. Do you have any advice for any listeners who are artists who are thinking of participating or applying to either your fair or another fair?
Yeah, just reach out. I would say we're a team of people that are all real. I think it's all you can do is kind of reach out, give some examples of your work in a really easily digestible format, and it can just be linked to your Instagram page. We get lots and lots and lots of leads that come through our website. So what's your point of difference? Add in a little bit about you or ask a question. It's much easier to kind of answer a question than try and answer 500 hypotheticals. So yeah, I think just reach out. We like the idea of collaborations. So thinking about if you were to do our fair, what would be your story? Who would you be showing with? We like to work with at least 3 artists on a booth working together. But you can reach out as a solo artist and we can start those chats and help the process of you connecting with other artists as well. But we like the idea of growing galleries, growing collectives, growing artists supporting each other. And that's what keeps our fairs fresh each time, is that there's sort of something a bit different each fair. Each day's a bit different. So one artist might have a real boomer of a day and the next day it's someone else on the booth's turn. And that's the cycle of the fairs, where some people are a real Friday seller and some people are a weekend seller. So it's nice to kind of balance that out and also learning from other artists as well. But yeah, the first step is just reaching out via email or via our website. Come to the fairs, have a look, but just know that we're just regular people making the fair happen.
Yeah, and you're advocates for artists. I've seen that firsthand as well, which I think is really important. Artists often feel like the underdogs and all of that. And it's nice to have people that are actually interested in lifting us up and helping us on our journeys as well.
Yeah. And I think it's like if we can try and, create that framework to make that easier and create processes from a team that have a lot of experience in logistics as well. But we have our logistics expert and we also have artists on our team. So we kind of know what each other's strengths are. And typically the world is a balanced place and we're kind of here to help you make a living from creating art.
Thank you so much. If our listeners today would like to go and learn more about the fair, either to attend or to participate and apply for the next round or next location, how are they best to do that? Where's the best place for them to go?
Yeah, just affordableartfair.com. You can kind of tick the fairs that you're interested in or come along to the Sydney Fair 6th to the 9th of November at Carriageworks, as we've said. Or just, send us an email to australia@affordableartfair.com and we will get back to you. We are hosting a Business of Art session in Brisbane coming up. So if you reach out to us, we can send you all the details for that as well. Yeah, just start the conversation.
You are a legend. Thank you so much, Georgia, for joining me today. I'll see you in person soon in the city.
Yeah, that's good. We'll see you in Sydney. Yeah, thanks, Ros. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Hello.
By the way, if you're looking for some extra support, I've created a library of free resources to help you grow as an artist. From getting started with selling to boosting your confidence to finding joy in your creative practice. You can grab them all for free at permissiontopaint.co/resources or just click the link in the show notes. Go and explore. I know you'll find something really, really helpful. That is all for today's episode. I'm so glad that we could share this time together. Remember, every small step you take brings you closer to the artist you're becoming. I'm Ros Gervay, and I'll catch you in the next episode.